So the game will be an MMO. You'll be pilgrims, like the humans arriving on America, like Columbus. Except instead of Indians, it's gonna be magical creatures. And your ships, I guess, could crash on the rocks because it's a bad landing. So there won't be a way back to your homeland across the oceans.
Yeah.
And you're sent to settle anyways. You're running away from your homeland. So either way, so you have no incentive to go back. But the land's inhabited. It's like Lord of the Rings. It's like ogres, orcs, trolls, this and that. It's magical creatures, and they see you as intruders, and they want to kill you.
It's messed up.
And so you have to try to survive, just like the Indians try to kill settlers.
No, I'm just kidding.
You have to build colonies. You have to gather resources. You have to find food. You have to try to build tents or someplace to sleep. You have to defend yourself. And you have to maybe form alliances with other humans to try to work together. Like you gather food, I'll gather sticks, this and that. And you have to settle the land, start farms, start villages, eventually build kingdoms, build fortresses, build castles, build walls, fortifications, build, and then you have to also be constantly fighting back invaders and raiders of them trying to gang up.
Sounds like this computer game my brothers and I used to play a lot.
Age of Empires?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be based on Age of Empires, except combining that with graphics like first-person shooters graphics,
Oh.
and it's also going to be combining fighting kind of like with spells and stuff,
Yeah.
and different classes, and also combining it with like MMO raiding and dungeons and stuff. So it's combining like every type of game,
Yeah, I think that's cool.
and the best part is they're like normally in a game you start the game and there's a huge kingdom nearby and you go to the kingdom and there's shops and everything's already built, but this won't be that way. If you're the only person playing the game, there won't be a kingdom unless if in the past there was and the enemy destroyed it or took it over. You're alone then just trying to survive. The game becomes a survival game if there's only one person playing it 30 years from now. But if there's millions of players, humans could develop thriving colonies, thriving big kingdoms. There could be multiple kingdoms, and the land will have no walls. You can travel for weeks and explore the lands and find evil creatures and stuff to do and survive and hunting. You could be alone in the game, or you can find human establishments and stay there. If you have friends playing the game, they can summon you to where they're at. But the game will be massive, sprawling like the size of a whole world. And so you'd have to travel for weeks to
So how
cross
would
it.
this make it different than
So in that way, it's like Minecraft, where it's generated by AI. Not a person didn't make the whole land of Minecraft. It's just created by the computer. But the computer will need to remember what it created for everyone, so it'll have maps on the main server, and it will draw. And it also the graphics will be according to what computer you have. So if you're using an older computer, the graphics will be more like Minecraft. If you're using a super high-end computer, the graphics will be like a movie, like real. And so it depends what computer you have. It's going to work for any computer then.
yeah.
And please pay attention.
Yeah, pay attention.
And so, if the humans are established, it's going to end up being more like a game, kind of like World of Warcraft, where you're in a kingdom, and there's shopkeepers and this and that.
Oh, like Sims.
Or and like Sims, yeah, you can start families, you can start businesses, you can make money, and just have a normal life, gardening, this and that. Or if you're a better warrior, if you're good at fighting, you could treat it like a fighting game and actually be more of a fighter and rank up in that.
Yeah.
So you can choose if you just want to be a normal citizen and just have a family and raise kids and this and that, or and support the war efforts and just make things for the fighters and
Yeah.
fix their gear and make them armor and stuff. You can be a blacksmith or a tailor or whatever, or you can be a fighter. But if you suck at fighting, you won't go far because it's going to be a very hard game. It requires a lot of skill. So if you want to be a fighter, you have to be good. And so people will have something to aspire to if they want to go that route. Or you could just play like Sims. But it's going to be a survival game. Let's say there's tens of thousands of players. People get bored of it. They think it sucks. They move on to the next game. The the human population will then go down. All those people will disappear if they're not logged in.
Okay.
And then guess what happens?
Well,
The enemies whose population rose when the humans rose are now outnumbering the humans. And now they take over. They kill everyone. They destroy the kingdom, burn it down, or they move in. And now the humans are back to just little bands of survivors. Whoever's still playing the game becomes totally different. It's no longer a thriving big kingdom. Now it's more of survival colonies hiding. So the game will change. Also, the game will create automatically stories and quests and things for you to do by AI. It will have like some little girl's missing, you need to find her. And we think she went west this far. That was the last time she was seen. Like the AI will create these scenarios for you to try to save someone or do something.
based on what, like internet stories or something?
Yeah, the game can look up online like cool stories for a game and then create it based on just researching online. So the game will be constantly creating itself and making more game.
Interesting.
And so many games like people want to explore. Some people just want to explore in the game. That's it. They can just spend their whole time in the game just for weeks just traveling out around the land.
Yeah.
And that could be all they do. But they'll have a hunger bar. They have to try to survive because they need food. So they'll just be surviving. The other problem with big MMOs is um, when people stop playing the game feels dead. It's like a big empty kingdom. Nobody's even around. But with my game, if that happens, the game's going to completely change. The enemies will destroy the kingdom. There won't be a kingdom. So when there was millions of players, the game was popular. All these kingdoms that rose up will be ghost towns taken over by orcs, goblins, and humans. That anybody that plays the game years later will walk around like seeing the ruins of great civilizations that fell because people stopped playing the game, and they'll have to start over or try to win it back by getting friends and people they know to play to try to earn back one of these great kingdoms. So it's going to feel like real with real histories that were created based on the rising and falling of popularity of the game and just different things that happened.
Cool.
Yeah, and people will be sad like seeing these ruins. It's going to feel so realistic. Like this was when the game was great. Look what the humans built and now that's all lost and we're just surviving trying to steal. You have to steal trash from the enemy's camps like a raccoon like eating their trash and sneaking at night. Won't that be crazy to go from being a great kingdom to just trying to sneak and get people's trash to survive, like goblin trash?
Very interesting.
Or you'll become like Gollum and you'll be just living in a cave, eating fish raw, and eating any little goblin or something that like breaks its leg or falls down a tunnel. You'll just eat the goblin. You're gonna start looking like Gollum. You'll be like this handsome human with a big beard, like a normal person. Then you'll end up looking like Gollum after all the humans die, and you're just living in a cave.
Yeah, that's weird that you became like that.
What?
That's weird that you became like that.
Yeah, I know. And there can be a rise and fall of big leaders. The game could create a story where like Lord Sauron rises and gathers the orcs and creates a big kingdom and wants to take over the human kingdom. Like there could be a Lord of the Rings type of story where some powerful wizard unites all the goblins and creatures to try to do a major army
Yeah.
and take over stuff. And in that story, Aragorn might not win. Like the humans could get defeated.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
So, like, I'll be as much a fan of just following the story of the game
Yeah.
because I won't know what's going to happen. Even though I made the game, I don't even know. The AI is making the game. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is interesting. For sure to see it. Yeah.
It's gonna feel exciting being an early human, gathering rocks and to create stones to build the walls to build up a fortress. It'll be exciting, but then it'll be also sad looking back and seeing that fortress taken over by goblins when people stop playing.
But it'll be interesting to see the game evolve.
And that happened on Lord of the Rings. Remember, the mines of Moria fell, and the dwarves got beat, and they died, and it was a goblin mine. Remember, they had to travel through it. It'll be just like that. The humans' territories will get taken over and become taken over by orcs and stuff if people don't log in. But if people stay logging in, they'll be able to win battles. That will happen. So people will be like, oh my goodness, like kids in school will be like, there's a battle happening, we have to leave class to save the kingdom.
Yeah, as long as they don't get addicted to it.
I can't control that. If a game is fun,
Yeah,
people will probably get addicted to it, but that's not my fault. You're telling me I should kick them off? Should my AI kick people off if they play too much? And say, like, you need a job?
yeah.
Or it could say, like, prove to me you read a book today and then you get to play. Or prove to me you've started a small business and then you get to play more because you need to be productive and make money as well, sir.
Enjoy life outside of
I think my game trying to run people's lives could be a lawsuit, though. If my game tries to make people, like, be productive members of society, maybe that's crossing the line. People will be like, if I want to play the game all day and that's my whole life, that's my right. And he can't tell me how to live my life.
No, you could just have positive messages. And when they log out, say, and remember, enjoy the real empire.
And they'll be like, I live in a crack den. My parents beat me. Don't tell me to enjoy my life. Yeah, you're right, guys. I'm making a robot arm that's going to build the rest of the robot, and that robot's going to build more robots and so on until I have a robot army. So I just have to make one arm and I get a robot army. And for my games, I just have to build an AI that builds the games, and then I can just direct it a little bit, but it's going to make the game. So I make a game that makes the games, and I make robots that make the robots. So you're right. I build seeds, and those seeds spawn into the ultimate creation. And my wife brought up a good point that I'm also going to plant a seed in her, and that will become a child. So I'm a seed man. I plant seeds everywhere. This game is going to be a ripoff of all the best games from the past 10 years. What could be better? How am I not well mentally? I'm way smarter than everyone.